Hey, how are you guys today?
Doing well.
Doing
Doing
How
great.
are
great.
you?
Thank you guys so much for taking the time for this. What have you all been up to lately?
Well, we've been out on the road with the Steel Drivers, playing some shows, making music, um, staying busy, writing
Yeah.
songs, right, Daniel?
Yeah, a lot of writing. We're getting ready to get back into the studio in the beginning of December to work on our second record as our first record's almost done being released. So we've been writing for that and it's just been a pretty busy back half of the year for us.
Yeah.
So, what is sort of the Troubadour Blue origin story here?
Oh, it's a good one. Daniel, you want me to do it or you want to do it?
You do it. You do it.
So, Troubadour Blue was kind of an idea, I guess, 4 years ago. Daniel and I were both doing the sideman thing, and we went to our mentor, Tammy Rogers King, who was at Belmont. She was in charge of the bluegrass ensemble where we both went to school. And we were both like, hey, Tammy, we're kind of like wanting to do something that would be a little more musically fulfilling for us, just like creatively. We wanted to be in charge of the ideas. And she was like, well, Brenna, maybe you should talk to Daniel. And she said the same thing to Daniel. So Daniel and I, we were like, hey, what's up? You wanna hang out, like write a song or something? So that was like four-ish years ago, I would say.
Mhm.
So we started doing that and they were like, you know what? Let's form a band. So that's the beginning of it all, and then COVID happened, so it kind of delayed us actually releasing music, which was a bummer for a lot of people. So yeah, 4 years ago, the idea was born. We started writing songs. COVID happened. We kept writing songs, and now we're rocking and rolling and releasing music slowly but surely.
So, where did the name come from?
That's a great question, Daniel. You go for that one.
It's a mystery. We can't tell you.
No.
Top secret.
It's
Not
top
at all.
secret.
So when
Well,
did no
good.
go for it, go for it, go for it.
I mean, a lot of it was just kind of us storyboarding names and bouncing everything off each other. And I think at one point we talked about the Blue Troubadours because a troubadour is a traveling musician and songwriter. And I remember us in the group chat seeing the Blue Troubadours, and no one said anything when that got sent into the group. And I personally was like, that sounds like a high school team. But I was like, if you flip it,
It'll
that's
work.
weird. I don't know what it means, but I like it. And so
Yeah.
there we
It
landed.
literally formed in a group chat. It was kind of like, guys, we have to have a name.
Hmm.
This band has to have a name. So that's where it officially came from, but also like, Troubadour is a traveling storyteller. We were like, that's our goal. And then we
Hmm.
also sing some blues songs, like sad songs. So that's our like official story, but.
So, what was the worst name idea that got tossed around?
Oh gosh. I wish I had screenshots of it, honestly.
I mean, it's probably there if you go back far enough.
I truly don't remember. Like it was just
Yeah,
like no, no, no. I don't think any of them were atrocious. It was just like that doesn't feel right.
yeah. So when did each of you like individually know that music was gonna be the path forward for you guys?
Who wants to go first?
Eli
I'll go
can go
first.
first.
Yeah, I'll go first. I so I Brendan and I are obviously we're related. And we both grew up just outside of Nashville. So um music was introduced to us at a very early age through our parents put us in violin lessons when we were very young. Brenna and my older sister stuck with it and played violin all the way through. And I was like, I hate this. So I switched to guitar pretty early on. I made a deal with my parents. I was like, if I get here, I'm switching to guitar. And then I started taking guitar lessons and played music all through high school and started writing songs. But then came to time to decide where to go to college, and I was like, I don't want to go to Belmont. I don't want to pursue music. Went to a school in North Carolina, ended up pursuing music there, and finding out that I really loved it. So then that's how it was my senior year when Brenna and Daniel contacted me, and were like, hey, would you like to join? We had written together one time, and they were like, would you like to join this band? And I was like, well, I got nothing else going on. So I think I hung up the phone and was like, let me think about it. And then I didn't really have to think about it that much, and joined the band. So that's sort of my trajectory and how I decided to start pursuing music. So
Renee, you go.
Mine is similar to Eli's because we are related. So grew up in Nashville, was 3 when my parents put me in violin lessons. Let's be clear, I hated it because what 3-year-old wants to practice? Um, but how Suzuki works is like you practice with your parents, they come to the lessons. So they were holding me accountable and making sure I practiced.
There was no getting out of it.
There was no getting out. I tried many ways. I was not as smart as Eli to come up with like a bargaining system of like, hey, can I try a different instrument? I didn't think that was a possibility. So when I was like 11 or 12, my parents sent me and my sister to a fiddle camp. And suddenly I was like, wait a second, this is fun because we were growing up playing classical music, which just is, let's be clear, it's a great basis. It's not as much fun as fiddle music. So I started playing fiddle and I was like, okay, wait, this is really fun. And so we started doubling up lessons, and then we introduced guitar lessons and we introduced voice lessons and piano lessons. And I was like, oh, okay, I love music. And then it came to the point in my life where my parents were like, you are going to college. And I said, okay, right. They're like, we don't care what you go for, but you are going. So we started touring schools that have music programs, and Belmont was the one that stuck out to me the most. And I'm very grateful for that. And that's where I met Daniel, and the rest is history. So it was just kind of like I didn't know anything else but music, and then I realized that I wasn't half bad at it. And I was like, well, I think this would be a great career option.
There's worse things to be doing.
There are worse things. There are worse things. So that's how I got into it.
My short version of it is I started playing the piano about the same age that they started playing the fiddle, violin, whatever. Very young, and my mom was my piano teacher, and as anyone that learned an instrument with their parent as their teacher, you will quickly learn that it's terrible. So I grew up in Southern California, in Lakewood, actually, by Long Beach, which is by Los Angeles. And in like 3rd or 4th grade, they introduced string orchestra as a program in public schools there. And so I had made a deal similar to Eli. I'd made a deal with my parents in that if I learned an instrument in the orchestra, I could quit piano. And so I played the cello in orchestra, and I did that all through high school, in string orchestra and symphony orchestra. And then halfway through 5th grade, we moved to Texas, and I was kind of having a hard time making friends. I'm the oldest. We'd moved going into middle school, and it was kind of like a crazy upheaval of my life. And around the same time, Guitar Hero had been like the big thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I had made some buddies, and we were just playing Guitar Hero all the time. And my dad basically was like, instead of doing something that's melting your brain, why don't you learn how to play the actual guitar?
It's not as fun.
It's not, well, it has its moments. I think sometimes on stage it's just as fun, but other times Guitar Hero at home is pretty great.
It's pretty fun.
Especially do you remember if you played Guitar Hero for too long, you'd like be playing it and then you'd stop playing and your vision was still kind of doing this from watching the screen too long? It was great. I think that was probably my first contact high. And so yeah, I started playing the guitar in early middle school and started playing in rock bands, and really fell in love with that, writing songs. And then came time for college, I moved to Nashville, and yeah, as a little kid, I wanted to be a doctor, and then I found out how long I had to go to school for that. So I went from like a really high earning potential to being a songwriter
to a really low.
Yeah,
the opposite end of the spectrum.
Just a really volatile earning potential.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
So what would y'all say has been the biggest challenge that you've faced as a band so far?
Okay, great question. Me personally, I would say patience, not with people, because this is very much just like any business, a people business. You gotta deal with people. So for me, certainly patience, and we have definitely learned how to communicate well, um, out of necessity. Those have been big challenges for sure. Just like I'm sure anybody experiences, but there are three of us, so we got to go through three people and then go to the outside world.
Yeah.
So that's just my answer.
Eli, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think I would echo what Brenna said. I think being patient, um, we've had to learn that um, things happen in their own timing, and we can't, especially with music, like we can create our babies, our songs, and release them, but once you let them go, they're kind of in the hands of the audience, and we've spent a lot of time creating them, and we care a lot about them, but you kind of have to, that's a tough part about music, is once you release it, it's not yours anymore, it's everybody's.
Yeah.
So that is kind of it's like jumping off a cliff every time you put a song out. And it's a vulnerable thing, but I think it's great to do it with being a band, and all three of us are being vulnerable at the same time. It's nice to have buddies.
You're not in it alone.
We're not alone.
Yeah.
Which,
So,
like, that's very true, Hila.
yeah.
I think the biggest thing that we've learned and been able to grow in is more than just communication. It's knowing how to be honest with each other, whether it's in the creative process as far as writing goes, or producing records, or touring together, or bringing on, you know, outside teams as far as distribution or label or publishers that we're working with or talking to, and really being able to look at each other when it's just the three of us and being like, I don't like this, or I do like this, or whatever. Because, what can tend to happen in things is, if you don't want to address it, you can be like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And you kind of push it along down the road until it hits a point where you're like, no, I absolutely don't like this. And then everyone's like,
Why didn't you
why
say
didn't you say
something
this?
before?
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm really proud of the way that we communicate with each other and are able to be honest and assertive, but like not rude. Obviously they're siblings; they could kill each other if they wanted to, but everyone is able to communicate things pretty effectively, so that we run, I think, is a pretty well-oiled machine 99% of the time.
And the 1% of the time we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You made it sound like we're legally allowed to kill each other as siblings, which I missed that, but it's good to know. Big if
I
true.
didn't know that was a possibility, but
My understanding is that that's just a Tennessee statute.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
yeah.
Ela and I will be meeting at the playground after this interview to beat each other up.
Yeah, to duel.
Well, and sorry, this is an aside that will take 30 seconds. In Texas, there's a law called mutual combat. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
So, Brett, okay. So basically, like, Eli, let's say you and me were having a disagreement and it was like getting really bad. We could look at each other and be like, like, do you want to go outside? That kind of thing. You can be like, do you want to go outside and handle this? And we can like verbally agree to mutual combat and beat the shit out of each other. And it's legal as long as you both agree and there's like a witness. But it's allowed. Like, no one can press charges.
This is why I don't live in Texas.
Good to know.
Do you have to verbally agree, or could you just like nod at each other?
I think if you think of the legal ramifications, you probably need to verbally agree.
Gosh. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, wait, was that a nod? Like,
right. Yeah. But yeah, mutual combat. It probably exists in Tennessee, but it for sure exists in Texas.
There you go.
That was a great tidbit, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So y'all also have a new song coming out on Friday, Out of Love. Could you tell us the story behind that song and how it came together?
We do. It's my wedding song. It was my wedding song. It is my wedding song. I had the idea for maybe the better part of a month or so, a little longer. And I'd written a lot of the first verse and parts of the chorus. And, you know, every songwriter wants to write their wedding song. Not every songwriter should write their wedding song. And I was terrified of writing like this terrible, crappy, cheesy song. So I basically like sketched out as much as the idea as I could, and then I brought it to Brenna and then my friends Will Stone and Natasha Myers, who coincidentally were the best man and maid of honor in my wedding. And we sat together and then proceeded to take like 5 hours to write.
We took a long time because it was like, we can't mess this up.
Yeah. It was like to write the second verse of the bridge, like it I think everyone did because I was kind of stressed, but I felt so much pressure to just not screw up what I felt was good. But yeah, it's my wedding song, and I'm super excited that we picked it as one of the ones to put out as a single in front of the record. And yeah.
Did you keep it secret from Callie before the wedding, or she heard it before?
I think she heard it. I think we played it out.
Yeah.
At shows.
Well, I think we played it.
I know that she had heard it.
I think I had played it at a round or something because then.
Oh yeah.
We played it on the wedding day. Callie and I had 2 weddings because COVID. So the backyard wedding was the first one, and we played it on that day. And then like the week after that, we were out on the road. But I can honestly, with COVID, not like a COVID brain thing, but because part of my life was deleted from my memory, I can't remember.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters back then. It is fun to play it on the road because Callie is our tour manager, and she keeps us all in line and then sells merchandise at the shows. So, you know, we give her a little shout out, which people love the fact that they're like, oh my gosh, this is his wife. This is the girl that the song is about. People love it. And so it's just a fun moment in the set to be like, hey guys, this is Daniel's wedding song, and you hear the collective, oh, and then we're like, and his wife is here with us. So it's sweet and fun, and a lot of people have come up to us and said, hey, can we maybe like use that for our wedding? And we're like, yeah, of course. I mean, ask Daniel first, but yeah.
Yeah, they can have it.
Please use it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the process like of putting together the songs for this record that you guys have coming out?
Man, it was a long and winding ordeal, honestly, because COVID was in there, and when we started the band, Eli wasn't initially in it, and then probably a year into it, we were like, "Hey, you want in? We kind of want the to fill out the sound, the 3-part harmonies," and so we had to then incorporate Eli into some of the songs we had already written. And so some of them we were like, nope, those don't work anymore. And then we started writing with Eli. So it truly, it was a very interesting process, I would say. Wouldn't you agree, Daniel, Eli?
Yeah, I think it's sorry, Eli, real quick. I think it's a great snapshot of us as a band learning how to write together and as a unit and with a purpose. Obviously they're from here. I've been in Nashville for 10 years, like working as a songwriter, and so us learning how to work together and what we wanted to sound like and what the focus was. Like I feel like as you kind of go through the record, you see these moments like Out of Love and Hush that you're like, you can kind of see as a band we like really started clicking, and I'm really glad we captured that on our first record here.
Yeah. And the song Hush that Daniel's talking about is not out, but it eventually will be. But it's how we close our shows, and it's just a classic murder song. So I don't know how we went from beautiful wedding song to murder song, but sure enough,
Circle of Life.
Circle of Life.
Everybody gets there.
We all get there.
Had a lot of murder talk today.
Yeah, which is just kind of like par for the course with Troubadour Blue. Oh man. Eli, can you speak into it as, like the outsider coming in?
Yeah, I came in and then we wrote better songs. I'm just
I knew it. I knew he was gonna say that.
no.
Oh, gosh, that was
No.
great.
No, it is definitely it's a like I think some records are a snapshot of a certain period of time. This one is a snapshot of a development, which is kind of nice, I think, to have the beginnings. Like one of the songs on the record is the first song us three wrote together. It's called Shadow of a Doubt, and we wrote it before I was in the band. We just had a writing session, us three. Um, and all the way up until I think Hush, the song that we were talking about, the murder song, is like maybe the last song that we wrote on the album, and we wrote that a lot later.
Like
Probably
2 years later?
yeah. So
Yeah, almost.
it's a wide range of songs, so there's a lot of variation. So it feels more like a mixtape, which we kind of like. Like there's just a little bit of different parts of our development, and if you listen close enough, I think you can spot it, which is kind of a fun. It's fun for this album. We're proud of it. So
I just want to do a little rapid fire with you guys before I let y'all go. If that's cool
Of
with you guys.
course.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm nervous.
Most likely to mess up on stage.
Brenna.
Brenna,
Okay, guys, come on.
like
Come on.
remove her from the
Listen,
session.
there was a show the other day where I think all three of us messed up and we just kind of look at each other and laugh. So
Brenna,
The question is most likely though.
doubling down.
She has to defend herself.
She
this
plays
is
the
not
most.
fair.
Yeah.
I'm glad they have so much confidence.
Dream venue to play.
Mm,
I mean, that we have played or that we want to play?
That you want.
I think Red Rocks for me. I would love to play Red Rocks.
I'd like to play Carnegie Hall.
Mhm.
The Forum in Los Angeles, it's where the Lakers used to play. That's my pick.
Ooh.
Most likely to split off and go solo.
Like Daniel and Ela. They'd be like, I'm done working with Brenna.
I think it's
Brenna-
Eli.
Brenna does have the hardest shot because she would just be a solo
Yeah.
violinist.
the.
Which
Wouldn't
I guess
work too well.
Paganini was like the last one who did that successfully.
I could be the female Paganini for sure.
Yeah.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Pancakes unless it's Waffle House waffles, because I love Waffle House.
Okay.
Great vote.
Daniel.
Pancakes. I said pancakes.
Oh,
I
sorry.
didn't hear you.
Sorry, I said it at the same time as Brenna, like literally at the same time.
No, who's louder?
Would you rather have 20 toes or 20 fingers?
20 fingies. Definitely.
They're a
Yeah.
lot more useful than toes.
Yeah.
20
Come on.
fingers could be interesting as a violin player. It could be good, it could be bad. I don't know. It'd be some crazy chords, honestly. So I'm gonna go fingers.
You can make a lot of money as a street performer with 20
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
I think I might go 20 toes. Think about like the stability you would have on your
You
body.
would never fall
You
down.
can never pick anything up.
Yeah, I think 20 toes is my vote.
If y'all could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay,
Nick
go.
of Time by Bonnie Raitt.
That is a great one.
It's like the theme song to my life. So I could handle that being the only song that I ever listened to.
Honestly, I would probably say Reminiscing by the Little River Band. That has just kind of been like this year's song for me. I don't know why. It's just fun. Daniel?
I was thinking. I'm sorry, Brenna. Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, John Mayer.
Solid.
Mm.
Well, thank you guys so much again for taking the time for this.
Thank you for having us.
Of
Yes.
course, of course.
You have
should
a
do
good
this
one. We'll
again
see you soon.
sometime. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Of course. Bye.